When I was 24, I got married to my beautiful wife, and we started our family together.
In October of 2013, I was pregnant, 5 months pregnant, and I was having lots of complications. And what it boiled down to is I had a major abruption, and I was put on bed rest for a week. Well, after a week, I went into labor.
It was a stillbirth at home, and it was very traumatizing. My wife and I lost our second child at 20 weeks into the pregnancy.
My mother-in-law and then my mother happened to show up and after the birth, and I just remember them telling me that John he couldn't come inside the house. He just was not prepared. And I remember looking at my mother and saying, he's lost his faith. And I remember just laying and just praying and praying and praying that everything would be okay. And it did not turn out well. The marriage just got very quiet.
Following the loss of Christian, it took about 1.5 years, 18 months, as I cascaded downward into this darkness before I just reached my absolute breaking point, my point of desperation, the point where I couldn't do it anymore. I was on my knees with depression and desperation, and I questioned whether God even existed. My relationship with my wife suffered immensely. I couldn't look her in the eye. We rarely communicated beyond what we had to. Our marriage was on the verge of collapse.
He couldn't even be in the same room with me some days, and we definitely weren't talking. And if I did talk, he just didn't want to speak to me.
I battled with increasing depression. I tried to fix it with things like alcohol and extra hours at work and prideful things, self-glorification, looking to the world for answers, and it just ended up shrouding me in a darkness that became darker and darker.
I really didn't know what he was doing, when I wasn't home, like how he was dealing with work. And I just remember praying at school, praying at home, and at some point I remember it just was so quiet in the house. I literally got on my knees in bed and just prayed over him to just come back. And he did.
I finally decided that I was going to come to the point with my wife, with Stacy, for the first time. After the service, I remember pushing my way past everyone else that was leaving the auditorium, and it was great determination that I went down to that stage, and as Rich prayed for me, a complete stranger praying for me and having compassion for me, the tears wouldn't stop. I surrendered my life to God that day. because without him, we are nothing, and I just could not do it anymore. All the prideful ambitions and self-glorification ended. The center of the universe was no longer me. The point helped me to find, or helped my wife and I to find a marriage counselor. And then I found out that God answers prayers. He restored my marriage completely, and He blessed my wife and I with a son, with a new baby, who was born just this past November. We named our son Zachariah because it means Jehovah remembers. And we wanted his name to be a constant reminder of God's grace and mercy.
It may take a week, it may take a month, it may take a year or years in our case, and prayers do get answered in their due time, and it's not our time, but the reward is, it's unbelievable.
If you say yes to Him and accept Christ into your heart and take steps of obedience towards Him, the blessings are unlimited.